Damas y caballeros. All right.
Spanish version?
Yeah.
Is that Spanish?
Yeah, it's Spanish.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Strong Principles. My name is Larry Medina.
I'm Rob Delacruz.
And I'm Zach Bragg. Welcome, everybody, to today's episode. Today's discussion is kind of an interesting one because it's something that not a lot of people maybe think about when it comes to training. But it's becoming a student of the game. And what we basically mean by that is becoming so develop-based, so research-based in fitness that it becomes very habitual. It becomes a lot easier rather than just having it basically cookie cut and handed to you. This is what you need to do. And the start of this, and we have some notes on this that we'll kind of discuss, but the start of this really to begin for this to happen is becoming an active participant in fitness. And so this means making sure that you're training. Doing a fitness group class is great. Doing personal training is great. And so that's kind of the start of getting your knowledge. And so becoming a student of the game.
Yeah, so when you get into it and being a student of the game, it's just kind of understanding what you're doing, and a lot of times why you're doing it. And yeah, there are programs you go in and you just start moving around. Nobody knows why you're doing it. It's almost like dancing with weights and stuff going on. Okay, that's actually not really training.
Right. Yeah.
When you come in and it's, so if you're doing personal training, then we're there guiding you more, but you're still learning, and we're teaching, and we're very big on teaching and knowledge. You're doing a group class, you're more independent, so that's going to be really important that you understand what's going on. But no matter what, if you're working a job, you own a business, whatever you're doing, the more you know about it, the better you can be at it. Fitness is the same thing with health. The more you know fitness and nutrition, the better you can be and the more effective you will be at it. Not understanding it at all, then you're lost most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give you for instance, like recently I just started using AI, and so I was like, oh, let me just plug in. Here's what I have, and go ahead and build me a workout, right? And it's like first time I was like, all right, I tweaked a couple things, no problem. So I was like, next day I was like, let me see what else. Even though I gave it new things, it decided to give me like basically the same workout. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Like exactly. But, to your point of, like, knowing what you're moving, why you're moving it is important.
Yeah, and there's a nuance of the coach, but also, like, with an individual is use the tools that we give you. Like, we'll give you an app, and it has all the videos on it. But, like, understanding the movements and, like, hey, what's the difference between this and that? Or at anything, understanding the base, the fundamental movement patterns. You got your squat, which is sitting down, standing up. You got your lunge, which is walking backwards, walking forward, going upstairs, downstairs, all that. Step ups. You got your hinge, which is bending over. There's all kinds of versions of that. Then you have your carry, so you're just carrying something. And then you have your push, horizontal, vertical, and you have your pull, horizontal, vertical. If you understand those terms alone, when you see most exercises and workouts, you will have a clue on where it's going. It's a box squat, barbell back squat. I don't know what a barbell is, but I'm squatting to something. So it's a version of squat. So at least that's there. It's a row. It's a dumbbell 2-point row. Well, I don't know what 2-point means, but I know I'm rowing, so that's usually horizontal. So like those a little bit of awareness goes a long way. And then as time goes on, and when you see exercises more, you start retaining them and remembering them.
Yeah, and you'll get more out of your workouts. We live in such a society, to Rob's point, where we want the quick feedback, we want the quick answers, and so you want the quick workout, and I get that, and that's what a group class can offer, right? You come in for a group class, your workout's on the board, you have coaches there who can guide you through it. A lot of people just want to turn off their mind and go through it, but you're not getting the feedback that you need out of that workout to get the most out of it. And so, to Rob's point, once you start educating yourself and start understanding the why am I doing this way? Well, then when you understand the why, now your body, you're going to start to notice things in your body too, how it affects your body differently. So rather than just running through this workout, all right, I did, just looking at Monday's workout, I did a hamstring bridge, or I did a Cossack box. I'm weak here. So now I understand what patterns I'm also weak in. I can improve in those patterns. So it's just educating yourself rather than just saying, oh yeah, this exercise is not good for me. No, it's simply a movement pattern. So you might be deficient in that movement pattern that you need to work on. Now you can also understand I can modify this way. And so if you're in a group class especially, or maybe you take a group class or you take personal training, but you're away on vacation, you want to get a workout in, if you've educated yourself and now you understand all these movement patterns, you understand what to do, and maybe you took a look at the workout that your trainer sent you or took a look at the workout that was in their group class and you're at a hotel gym, oh, I don't have access to a sled, I don't have access, but I understand the reason behind it, and I can do an exercise that would give me the same exact stimulus. So educating yourself is huge for being able to sustain your training journey.
Yeah, and because it's like you're interested.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. We'll have some people they don't want. I don't want to know. You just tell me what to do. Can it be effective? Kind of. Is it going to be as effective as you really understanding and wanting to know? Most likely not.
Yeah. I think the best question that any client can ask is why, and any good coach won't be upset with you for asking why, because they want you to understand, they want you to know, and that's a big thing that I think we pride ourselves on is we want you to understand what you're doing. So if you left the gym tomorrow, you would have a solid knowledge basis of what to do, rather than just coming in and never knowing what to do or having to lean on that all the time. We want you to understand your body. We want you to understand fitness well enough to where you could do it on your own.
Yeah, only once in a while I say because I said so. But most of the time I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because I do feel like most of the people who are knowledgeable are not afraid of giving away knowledge, right? And it's mainly the people that feel bothered are typically people who are either too arrogant and you don't want to be around them anyways, or they would definitely tell you because I told you to, or because they're afraid of losing their job or whatever. It's an insecurity of some sort, and I would just stay away from that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we spend a lot of time.
Like whether it doesn't just apply to fitness; it applies in life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Generally, we try to educate our not just the coaches and staff and whatever, but like the clients.
Our members, yeah.
Yeah, we try to educate the members. Some members have like an understanding of fitness and training and programming that some places coaches do.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it kind of makes a connection with them even more. And then when they're seeing things, they understand it more. So now they got more intent when we're doing a new phase or why we're doing it.
Yeah, and so they're constantly learning too, which makes you better at fitness.
100%.
And so when you're educating yourself, obviously there's a lot of different benefits that we just talked about with benefiting yourself. But another one too is how it benefits you is if you get really good at understanding your own movement patterns and you're educating yourself on why your own movement patterns move the way you do. So a lot of people, if you have a tight lower back, well, maybe you sit all day. Why is that happening? And so you're educating yourself. All right, I have tight hamstrings. I have bad ankle mobility, and so squats are tough for me. Why are squats tough for me? It's because I
feel like you're talking about me, Zach.
Keep on looking over.
I keep on looking this way. But when you educate yourself to that point, to that extent, well, now you also not only are benefiting yourself in the gym and understanding the exercises, but you can benefit yourself in everyday life too, because I understand that my job requires me to sit all day. What should you be doing in the morning? What should you be doing in the evening? What should your activity look like throughout the day? You might want to add in some mobility. Well, how do I add in mobility? I don't know what to do. Well, you've educated yourself to the point in the gym where now you know what mobility exercises to do. So the benefits are not just in that specific workout, but they go so much beyond in life and everyday life too.
100%. And having an awareness of like how you move and what you look like. So if a coach has said and like tried to correct you several times and you kind of don't have an understanding, like ask them to go further. Maybe take a video of yourself. Maybe look in the mirror and you see other people that are moving. It's like, are you moving like that? That the coach said they consider them being good. So you like understanding how to correct yourself. That goes a long way in what you look like and having that situational awareness.
Yep, that's a huge one too because so many people they don't even understand what they look like when they do an exercise. So especially like a hinge pattern, right? So you go to bend. We tell you to bend. You're doing something like maybe a deadlift or an RDL or a kettlebell swing, and you go to bend. And we tell them, all right, let's flatten out the spine or lift up your chest or, kind of these cues that we'll use. And they say they adjusted it and they look exactly the same. They have no idea how to even, make those adjustments. They don't have the body awareness to do that. So video analysis, like Rob mentioned, or using a mirror is huge. And so being able to identify what this movement pattern looks like and what cues or adjustments work for me so that way I can get to a proper positioning to be able to do that exercise well.
Yeah, very important. Because like what Zach just said, that awareness of hey, the difference between like my back is in a good neutral spine or I'm rounded is huge. And if when someone doesn't know the difference, they kind of start becoming dangerous to themselves, especially as they become stronger. So, like it's waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, and we have a note on here about educating yourself when it comes to biofeedback monitoring and recovery. And this kind of lends itself to understanding movements and understanding the amount of weight that you can do on a movement. So we see this quite often. You get a guy who, does a bicep curl with 35 or 40 pounds because he thinks that's a good amount of weight, but you don't actually understand that just doing 20 or 25 pounds with really, really good form is going to have a much better stimulus on you. And so then they just move weight. But when you understand what weights you use for specific exercises, what exercises you did, then you can begin to understand why your body is recovering the way it did post-workout, right? So if you just do a workout and you don't quite understand it, and the next day you're like, man, I'm really, really sore, that really, really affected me, but you don't understand the why, then you're not going to understand how that workout, and how you need to start to tailor your workouts a little bit more. And then obviously if you're in a group class, you have the workouts laid out for you and they can be tailored, but you're still going to need to make those small adjustments, and you can speak to the coaches about those small adjustments, but the more you understand it, the more it's going to make sense for you on why you're making those adjustments. So super important to understand the recovery of it and then the weights you've used.
Yeah, it's just educating yourself. It just means that you're into it more.
Right.
Like not wanting to know anything about it just means you're just here for it, just because you're trying to get something done. Maybe the doctor told you to be here. How effective it could be, it depends.
Yeah, it's going to make you get a vested interest in what you're doing.
Very vested interest.
And so then it leads back to the nutrition piece, right? It leads back to really your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, at least be curious at the very least, right? Because that's how I figured out that my ankles were stiff as hell, because I was like, why can't I get into a proper squat?
Mm-hmm.
And it really was because it was a bunch of things, but a big factor was my ankles. I noticed I couldn't sit in a certain spot because it just wasn't moving in that spot.
And think about tie it all in. So let's tie it in to the more you know, the more effective your workout could be. But it's the same with the nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you know about it, nutrition, the better choices you can make. Same thing about in your workouts. The more you know about it, the more effective the workout could be. But not only that, the less likely you are to choose workouts that could be ineffective or detrimental to you. And understand that, because that's where they fall into it. You run into something and you're way overdoing it, and that's because someone told you. If you had an education yourself, oh, maybe I should only do this once or twice a week at the most because this is a little too much, instead of trying to run yourself into the ground. So all that comes hand in hand. The more you know about nutrition, the better choices you can make. The more you know about fitness and training and working out and the programs, the better choices you can make with those. And then the more effective on nutrition and working out choices you can make.
Yeah, 100%. And it's going to help you reach your goals a lot faster too. So whatever goals you set, the more you understand about training, the more you understand about nutrition, it helps. And then one final note that I forgot to mention earlier, but so when we train our members and our clients, we generally use a percentage scale or an RPE scale. And so RPE itself, rate of perceived exertion. You have to understand your body enough to know what weight you're going to use there or what percentages to be able to use there. So again, that comes to educating yourself to be able to understand, because your RPE can also change from day to day. And so someone who pays no attention to fitness or doesn't quite understand it as much might not take in consideration their day-to-day what's going on. So I don't feel as good today. My RPE3 is what a workout is RPE5. I need to tone it back to RPE3 or RPE4. So then you can understand and make those adjustments in the workout too.
And with that, right, if you educate yourself, you're going to know that it's okay to pull it back.
Exactly.
Because it's not, you can't be 100% every day.
Yes.
That's a great point.
That's what I'm saying. It's the more effective, you would be making choices for yourself.
Yep. So you'll reach those goals. Excellent, guys. So become a student of the game. Main takeaways is do research, ask questions, become curious, and then apply it to yourself. Be able to absorb it and be able to apply it to your workouts, and be able to apply it to everyday workout, and then you'll get the most efficient workouts, and then eventually be able to reach your goals. So
can I ask one more thing before we close?
Yeah.
So would you say I went to the doctor because my knee was ballooning up constantly, right? Go to the doctor's like, nothing's wrong with your knee. And I was like, well, it happens when I do these kind of workouts. So the response was, well, don't do the workout. Like, just basically become a potato, right? Like, and so I like the be curious. Like, I like, to me, I didn't like that response, so I didn't pay attention to it. And obviously, I'm not saying like don't pay attention to your doctors. Like, please pay attention to your doctors. But also, I just didn't want to accept that I just had to become a potato, right? Like, essentially.
Well, you can take that in two ways. Is because we often hear that it's like don't do that exercise or don't do that. It's like doesn't mean don't exercise.
Right.
So that means let's find an exercise that doesn't do it, and then let's try to get to the bottom of why it does do it and what exercises cause that. So that's where you got to go, like, kind of look at it. A lot of times doctors, they're seeing you really quickly, and it's like, just don't do that. Like, what? Don't do anything? Don't do it. You know, they're just kind of like, they got a process they got to follow.
As a patient, though, that can be really confusing, right?
Correct.
So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Like, so that's why it's important to be curious and keep tweaking and talk to a good coach, right?
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to people on the internet.
Yeah.
No, don't. Once again.
Well, that's exactly right. So when you educate yourself, you know, you're that can be the difference between somebody who just completely stops and somebody who's able to keep on going with their fitness journey or with their training, because then they can understand how to adjust. So
yeah, and it's just being a student again. Doesn't mean you need to know as much as a trainer or anything, but the more you know, the more likelihood you're going to pick something and be more effective at things. And nutrition's the same way.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Strong Principles.